Hello Artventurers, welcome to my third video. In the first two we explored trees and portals and trees and lanterns. Today we're diving into something a bit more challenging. I have for you steampunk trees. This concept was definitely the trickiest so far because blending the mechanical industrial style of steampunk with the organic nature of trees was a huge challenge for me. The two themes are so different in their essence. Trees are all about nature, growth, and fluid forms, while steampunk is sharp, metallic, and full of intricate mechanical details. I really had to think about how to combine these elements in a way that felt natural and cohesive. At first, it was tough to figure out where to start. I didn't want the tree to look too mechanical or lose its organic feel, but I also wanted to bring in the industrial clockwork vibe of steampunk. So I decided to focus on blending the shapes, keep the tree's natural trunk and branches, but add in mechanical details like gears, pipes, and clockwork elements that would feel integrated rather than added on top. As I started thinking about steampunk, one of the very first thing that came to my mind was a clock. I know it's kind of obvious, but I couldn't shake the idea of blending the magic of a tree with the mechanical intricacy of an old-fashioned clock. So, a bit of a funny, not funny at all thing happened again. I didn't realize my phone had stopped recording during the sketching part of the second tree. You can see it here because it's covered by the black page, but it's behind. So unfortunately I lost the footage of the initial sketch, but that's okay because you'll see it later when we get to the black sketchbook. As you can see here, I had this black page to try the metallic paint on, but I enjoyed it because it's metallic, of course, but when I tried to paint the the shimmering effect with the normal gouache, it was better, I think. Anyways, as I was thinking more about the steampunk theme, I had a couple of other ideas pop into my head. The second one was a hot air balloon or a dirigible. Dirigible? I don't know. So those big vintage flying machines that really scream steampunk. I tried to integrate that into my drawing using the same approach I did with the clock, but I'm not sure if it turned out as well as the clock tree. It was fun to experiment with it, though. And then my third idea, which you can see right now. And this one is my favorite of the bunch. It's a house workshop, a cozy little place where an inventor might live and work. It's surrounded by all their steampunk gadgets and creations. I just love how it turned out, especially in the two black pages. It has so much charm and character, and I love the depth in the trunk. And here we are in the black sketchbook. I decided to create this first tree that functions as a o'clock tree. Imagine it as an enchanted clock that has the ability to change the seasons, shift the weather, and even alter the time of day or night. It's not just a tree, it's a living, breathing timepiece that controls the environment around it. To really help visualize the scale of this huge magical tree, I added a little character just like in my previous videos. It helps to show how massive and awe-inspiring this clock tree would be in real life. I really wanted this piece to feel like it had a life of its own, and that's why I chose to make it a clock with magical abilities, blending the steampunk aesthetic with something truly fantastical. As I worked on the design, I had to keep thinking about how to make the mechanical elements feel like part of the tree rather than something that was just placed on top. The gears, the clock hands, and the dials had to feel like they grew inside the tree, as if the timekeeping mechanism were an inherent part of its natural existence. By the end of the process, I was kind of happy with how it turned out. The tree has its natural flow, but now I hope it also feels like it's alive with the mechanical energy of steampunk. And also, I really don't like that golden details. I think I could do better without the golden metallic paint, but it's okay. So for this second drawing, I didn't want to just make a simple flying tree. I wanted it to have some magical features that would make it truly special. This tree can fly not only by harnessing the energy of the wind, but also by using its own internal energy. It's like it has a life force that lets it stay afloat, almost like a living airship. And that's not all. This magical tree has a secret feature. It's equipped with a boccaporto, or a hatch, that allows it to scatter seeds and spores into areas that need them most. It can create new biomes or even help sustain the existing ones. It's like a guardian of nature, spreading life wherever it's needed. I really love this concept because it feels like the tree isn't just a passive object, it's actively participating in the world around it, bringing life to places that might be barren or in need of restoration. By the way, in the future, I'd love to compile all of these steampunk themed prompts into a collection and build an entire world around them. I can imagine it now. Each item, each machine, each creation would have its own story, and we could explore who's behind all these incredible, powerful objects. A whole universe of steampunk magic and adventure. I would love that. I think it would be so fun to flesh out these ideas and connect them in a way that brings the whole steampunk world to life. And here we are at my favorite tree of all, the Magical House Workshop tree. This one is my favorite, but not for the design. I mean, the design is okay, but it's the idea. So I didn't just want to create a simple house or a lab inside a tree. I wanted to add some magical elements, so I drew inspiration from the Room of Requirement in the Harry Potter series, which, as you can guess, I'm a huge fan of. This tree is fully self-sufficient and can provide its rightful owner with everything they need. But here's the real magic. The tree's exterior and interior can change continuously, adapting to whatever the owner requires at any given time. It's like a living, breathing space that adjusts itself based on your needs and desires. For example, let's say the owner picks up a new hobby like painting or crafting. The tree will instantly create a dedicated room for the activity, filling it with all the necessary supplies and tools. How cool would that be? I would really need that tree. Or maybe the owner needs a quiet study space one day and the tree will make a room into a peaceful library or a cozy nook. Oh, I really need that. The possibilities are endless, whether it's a workshop, a study room, or even a space for relaxation. The tree adapts to whatever is needed, making it the ultimate magical home. So here you can really see what I meant earlier when I said I'm not as fond of metallic paints compared to regular gouache for coloring metallic surfaces. Don't get me wrong, the metallics aren't bad. They definitely have a shine to them, but they lack the ability to control light and shadow in the way that gouache does. And they reactivate really easily, so it's hard to layer them. They end up looking a bit flat, and I find it hard to get the depth and dimension I'm going for. With gouache, it takes a little more time and attention to detail, but it's totally worth it. You can really control the highlights and shadows, which makes the metallic elements pop and feel more dynamic. I absolutely love how the metallic details turned out on this tree, especially the way they added life to the mechanical parts of the design. So even though the metallic paints didn't give me the control I wanted, I think the end result still works, and honestly, I enjoy the challenge of using gouache to get that perfect metallic effect. It's part of the fun. So here you can see I'm giving the last touch, which is the writing. And we are almost at the end of this video. As always, I thank you so much for watching, for hanging around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!